Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 5, OV number 33. We are looking at the inadequacy of the words Sat, Chit and Anand, and now we started looking into the Ananda. We have already seen that Sat is only there to cancel Asat, Chit is there to cancel Achit, and now Anand is there to cancel Dukkham. In the verse 33 it says, Ata dvandva che lavanchaka Sanduni duni che kanchuka Sukha matra chi eka Swaye athi. Having transcended the dualism, pairs of opposite, and rejecting the duality of the qualification and the qualified, non-dual bliss alone prevails. Having transcended the fallacious existence of the Dandva. Why fallacious? Because Dandva, opposites, pairs of opposites, Sukha, Dukha, Labh, Hani, inside, outside, top, bottom, Sat, Asat, Chit, Achit, husband, wife, mother, children, all these are without any existence. They don't have validity. Duality cannot have validity. Validity is only of the truth. And everything that can be thought, talked about, experienced, related to, grasped, imagined, inferred, conceptualized, all that comes under the purview of duality, and all that is only appearing in its own absence. Only appearing in its own absence. Because of certain circumstances, you are taking it to be real. Just like when you are on the earth, the east and west is a functional usefulness, and you use that to organize your day of 24 hours. You go out of the earth space, where is sunrise and sunset? Where is sunrise and sunset? Where is top and bottom? Where is where are the directions? Nothing there. So while living on earth, come to that understanding. Same way, having transcended the fallacious existence of the dvandva, the pairs of opposites, and this is what Bhagavad Gita also says, Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayo tato yudhyaya yudhyasva. We must, our disposition, 24 hours when we are living in awareness means what? Living in awareness, or samatvam yoga uchyate, be equanimous, means what? Do not react, do not get disturbed by the opposites that are coming to you from outside or inside. Inside is sukha dukkha. Inside is likes and dislikes. Outside is all the opposites: day, night, sunrise, sunset, man, woman, husband, wife. Hunger, thirst is inside. So do not be disturbed, do not be irritated, do not react to the opposites. If you don't, if you, and because when this is told, oh, yeah, what, how will you do it? And if you are not able to stand apart from the opposites which are appearing in your mind, those people who think they are the mind, then for them, japa is told. Some people can't even come to know, they understand, not they understand, they think they are the mind, but worse, they think they are the body. Then for them, so wherever your disposition is, if you think you are the body, then for such a person, this knowledge is not meaningful. What we are studying is not meaningful. Then that fellow needs to do yoga. If his attention is on the relationships and world and money and this and then he is told, oh, you earn the money righteously, you spend the money righteously, you use the money to satisfy the needs of the people and the society and the community. Don't satisfy your desires, because there is no end to satisfaction of desires. Why this is being told? Because that person's attention is on the world, on possessions. See? But a person who is already dropped all that, already dropped the body identification, already dropped the mind, he's come to the coming towards the conclusion. The mind also is no more tamasic or rajasic, it's come to the sattvic mind, he's into inquiry. Then to such a person, these words will make some meaning. So, if our mind is not like that, then we are wasting our time. No, maybe one word will spark and it takes fraction of a second to change the disposition. How long does it change for you to become a mother from a daughter? Not even 1 second. How much time does it take you to shift from being a waker to sleeper? Oh, every day I go to sleep, but I don't know when it happens, but it happens. It happens, no? Same way. How, if we keep exposing ourselves, suddenly one day a spark will catch fire. Having transcended the fallacious existence of the Dvandva, the pairs of opposites are discovered to be a fallacy in perception. So pairs of opposites are fallacy in perception. Perception at the 5 sensory levels, or the 6th is the mind. But even if you look at it from our senses point of view, because there is vision, that vision alone is expressing as the objects to be perceived. Objects cannot, remember one thing, just like idam cannot exist without aham. Idam cannot exist without aham. Aham is the one. Yes, thoughts are changing, but aham is one. Idam is changing. Similarly, vision is one. Objects are changing. So the principle of vision alone expresses as the variety of objects and the eyes. So on one hand it becomes the seer, the eye, if we take that as, stop here, don't go to the eye thought, but the seer, the eye, and what is seen, all the colors and forms. So that principle of vision has become both. Similarly, the principle of hearing has become the ears and the heard. Just like consciousness alone has become, or life has alone, is alone expressing as aham and idam, the knower and the known. So who is the knower here? I. What is the known? The objects. So, but what is their source? The source of both aham and idam is nothing but consciousness. Same way, what is the source of the seer, the eye, and the seen, the objects? Find out the cause, find out the source. It is the same source. But we live in this fallacy, in this imagination that this world was there before us, this world will be there after us. Because we have accepted we are the body, we have accepted the world is outside of us, we have accepted that we were born in this world, we have accepted that after we go away the world will continue. But we never stop and ask the question, for whom? Here it is a subjective approach. So this world began with you and it will end with you. Just like in the dream world began the moment you came into existence in the dream, and the moment you go out of the dream, the world also goes away. And you can never access that same dream again. So is true about this waking world. You cannot access the same waking world every day, every moment. But you have imagined that you are in the same world. You have imagined that you are in the same world. That it was the same yesterday body which is today's body. That it is the same today's body which will be tomorrow's body. It is the same house yesterday and is the same house today. It's the same earth today, yesterday and the same earth today. No, everything is changing. Yes, in dream the change is very fast, rapid. Whereas in waking the change is very, very slow. And because that change is not perceived until someone says auntie, until someone comes and says Amama, Ajji. Oh, don't call me Ajji, I'm still young, I got white hair, black hair still. You didn't realize that time has passed till someone reminds you. You're standing on the red light and someone comes and says, Grandma, wait, I'll give you a hand. Grandma, whom are you talking to? Grandma, you. Oh, then it doesn't click straight away. Today, someone, it has happened before also, but today again, today is Father's Day, I believe. So, someone sent me a SMS. It's there. She says, Swamiji, you are my father, you are my mother, you are my brother, you are my everything. Happy Father's Day. So, acha, I still feel young. I'm a young father. But when someone says like that, now if a small kid comes and says, Grandpa Swamiji, in someone's house I go, they say, Azoba Swamiji. Azoba means grandpa. Aja Swamiji. And they wrote a card. Aja, my dearest Aja Swamiji, Azoba Swamiji, I love you very much. And when I read that, so sweet. But the second question was, Azoba? Oh, am I being perceived as a grandfather? Oh my God, I must be old then. See, only when something comes from outside, then you realize it. Otherwise, the time is going so slow, we can't see the change. We can't see the change. We take it for granted, and because we can't see the change, we take it for granted. We take life for granted. We take the body for granted. We take the mind for granted. We take the world for granted, that it will always be the same, but it will not be, because its nature is change. And the earlier you come to disconnect from this change and come to recognize that we are the constant principle, the healthier we will be. Then you are wise. But if we continue to take the change as the real and never put attention on the changeless, then misery is bound to come. Having discovered and gone beyond their hold on oneself, and also having transcended the layer of duality, the absolute bliss is discovered. The self existence consciousness is called bliss. So, what is bliss? Existence, that which is. Consciousness, I know that which is always. The moment consciousness, Sat and Chit. The Chit means knowing, Sat means being. When consciousness knows that it is continuously unbroken existence, that means our Atma is Satchidananda. It is continuously existing and the knowledge is also there. But what is our knowledge? Is our knowledge of existence, or is our knowledge of that which is continuously changing? Our knowledge is that about that which is continuously changing. When we come to know by this process of satsang and every contemplation and our sadhana, that hey, what I am searching, I am always existing. Self is always existing. Before it was a concept. But when you come to know that I am the one who is continuous, that means I know, meaning knowing and being become one. It's the existence, the continuous existence, the Sat is no longer an objective approach. It is not separate to you. You realize that you are the Sat and you are the consciousness. Meaning knowing and being becomes one. In other words, consciousness knows that it is ever existing. When this happens, the third, what is that? Ananda. It bursts forth. That Ananda is life. That Ananda is expansion. That Ananda is the desire of the Paramashiva. That Ananda first expressed as the Shakti, then that because Ananda is continuing, that Ananda as Shakti then continues the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas and all the expansion. So that is all the variety, the expanse is of Ananda. We explain the waves on the river are born out of the desire for the river to reach the ocean. But what are the waves on the ocean? Where are they going to reach? Nowhere. So there it is told, the waves on the ocean are expressions of the inherent bliss of the ocean. Because nowhere to go, nowhere to reach. River has a purpose. Ocean has no purpose. It is content within itself. So having discovered and gone beyond the hold on, beyond their hold on oneself, so when we are not addicted to, obsessed with, thought fixated by, enslaved by, attached to the Dvandva, meaning all the opposites in the world, all the objects in the world, including living beings, including husband and wife. This is only an imagination, it's not real. Man and woman are real. Man and woman are not miserable. Husband is miserable because of wife, wife is miserable because of husband. Husband is happy because of wife, wife is happy because of husband, and so on. But who are these husband and wife? They are only imaginations. They are like a shadow. Seem to be there, but actually not there. So, when thinking in this manner, thinking not about the world, thinking about the self, thinking about the self, and checkmating all the opposites, all the dvandvas, all the dualities. You don't think of the duality and checkmate it. No, you be the self, and that is the final checkmate. Game over. That's when you have transcended. Then there is no you then. Transcending has happened. And there was nothing to transcend to also. And also, having transcended the layers of duality, the absolute bliss is discovered. Now, as long as we are in the realm of language, we are in the realm of communication, then the shortcoming in the language has to be accepted. Absolute bliss, bliss is discovered. Discovered. Are you going searching for it or what? Yes, but as a seeker, you and me, we are searching at the moment. But if we think in this manner, the way Jnaneshwar Maharaj is telling us, then what will be the discovery? Knowledge is being. Knowing is being. Which alone is expressing as the bliss. The self-existent consciousness is called bliss. This is what I was explaining. Knowing and being, the resultant is bliss. Bliss is that Shakti. Bliss is that the potentiality. So, if Shakti has become is expressing as the whole world, and she is of the nature of Ananda because she is inseparable from the infinite, then can this world be a source of misery? But as long as you are thinking of the world as separate objects, as separate from you, it will become a source of misery. For that we have to go back to the source. For that we have to be the conscious existence. Then we will recognize. Then we will not recognize it at Parama Shiva, Shiva Shakti. That was necessary. Then you will recognize the whole process subjectively. When you are in meditation, the bliss is unexpressed. The moment mind clicks, the expression begins. That expression is the expression of Ananda. Like, for example, you are sitting in this satsang for 1.5 hours, you are focused, you are available, you are contemplative, and no, you just, time has stopped. And then once the satsang is over, the resultant Ananda of the satsang keeps percolating for another 2, 3, 4 hours, maybe whole day. Like when we used to go for one week retreats, after 1 week, then people used to send us, Swamiji, let's have another retreat, because after retreat, for 1 full week, for 1 and 2 weeks, I was in that zone. Now, slowly, it's washing away. Now, let's have another one. Just like when you go to sleep and wake up in the morning, the bliss of sleep lingers on for some time before your mind becomes activated fully. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. You eat food, you feel satisfied. Then after a few 2-3 hours, you are satisfied. After that, again hunger clicks in. So when we recognize this subjectively, that this entire expanse is happening, is nothing but the mind, and mind is the Shakti, mind is the potentiality, mind is nothing but an expression of that bliss. It is inseparable from the self. For that, reading will not be enough. It has to be directly perceived. Only by grace that disposition will come. Mere intellectualization will not take us there. The total world of known is always existing only in Dvandva. The Dvandva is known to someone. That someone versus Dvandva is Dvaita, the knower-known differences. Dvanda, the pairs of the world of opposites. The world of opposites, as I told you in the beginning, inside, outside, up and down, husband, wife, right, left, yin, yang, left brain, right brain, left ventricle, right ventricle, right eye, left eye. Everything is in balance. Long, short, fat, thin, tasty, not tasty. Who is knowing all this? Right hand, left leg, right leg. Who is knowing all this? There is someone. Without that someone, this knowledge will not take place. All these dualities are for someone. They don't exist for themselves. They are for someone, and that is what is told. The total world of known is always existing only in Dvandva, only as the pair of opposites. The Dvandva is known to someone, it is for someone, it is knowledge of someone. That someone versus Dvandva is Dvaita. And where is this whole thing? When we understand it in this way. Dvandva is the outside world of opposites, and Dvaita is the inner world of opposites. And when you come to the final crux, the Dvaita is the two. What is the first two? The first two is Aham and Idam. And that Aham continues to be Aham, and Idam keeps expressing as it keeps multiplying. So all the colors and forms, the Dvandva, black versus white, blue versus green, light versus dark. For whom is it? It is for the I. I is the knower. I is not disturbed by it. But here, so if you take the position of the I is without any commentary, accepting all the opposites, illuminating all the opposites, not attached to any opposites. That is the nature of the I. Ear is also doing the same thing. Sound or no sound, good sound or bad sound, beautiful music or screeching music, the metal music. The ear is illuminating all the sounds, but it is not affected by any sound. See? Then you come further back. The mind is not affected by. I was going to say mind is not affected by the senses, but that's not the example here. So the sounds are going into the mind as thoughts. So at the faculty level, the faculty is not disturbed by what it is illuminating. Is the mind affected by what it is illuminating? Is the mind affected by what it is illuminating? What is mind illuminating? Mind is illuminating the thoughts. So the green color came. How do you know green as green? I was only illuminating it, but the thought green came in your mind only, no? Then the blue color came, then the thought blue came in your mind. Is the mind disturbed by green or blue or light or dark or screeching sound or the soothing sound? Is it disturbed? No. With every sound, with every thought in the mind, there is I thought also appearing, the knower. The thought, okay, not the knower, but the Triputi is appearing. Because of Triputi, the thought is there, isn't it? So who is getting disturbed? The question is this now. Who is getting disturbed? I is not getting disturbed by the objects that it is perceiving. The mind is not getting disturbed by the thoughts that it is allowing to bubble up. Then who is disturbed? I is not disturbed because I is coming with the aham is coming with every idam and going away. So I is also not disturbed. Then who is disturbed? Question is this. Who is disturbed? Tell someone. Who is disturbed? Idam is a thought. Aham is also a thought. I is also a thought. Thought is inert. Inert cannot have feelings. This book cannot have feelings. This laptop cannot have feelings. Anything that comes and goes is inert. Then who is disturbed? If a thought in the mind cannot come about without aham and idam, and both are inert, both are appearing for one moment, then that thought goes away, then the next thought comes, again a triad is created, that goes away. So mind is not disturbed by the triads coming and going, because mind is the container in which the thought, the triad is coming. Aham and idam are coming and going away. Thought is coming and going away. Right now also it is happening. You are hearing so many words. You are not holding on to any word. But what are you doing? You are trying to understand the crux of all the words that you are hearing. You are trying to be what the words are indicating. Who is this someone? Is the I thought the someone? Is the idam the someone? No. So first we saw the duality was the dvandva was outside in the world, and with that entire opposites of names and forms and colors was illuminated by the senses. Senses were not disturbed. Then we saw all that was perceived as the thoughts. Thought was known. Thought cannot appear without the triad. Triad also comes and goes. Mind is not disturbed by the triads coming and going. Then who is this? The one who takes, who gives, who becomes disturbed, who becomes excited, who takes ownership. Because for a dead man there are no thoughts. For a living person alone a thought can come. And I think we are all thinking we are living people. But living as what? Living as the Atman, living as the mind. If you live as the mind, then you should not be disturbed by the thoughts coming in the mind, because I just showed you how mind is not disturbed by the thoughts. So this imaginary continuity of the I thought in the mind gives rise to a fictitious entity called ego, gives rise to a fictitious entity called the who owns all these thoughts. Just like husband owns the wife, wife owns the husband, mother owns the children, or is associated, or is having a relationship, whatever different words you can use. I just use by it, just the owner owns came out of my mouth, but relationship. So husband is miserable because of wife, or wife because of husband. So this continuous aham is not destroyed by idam. Idam is not destroyed by aham, because both are inert. But this imagined continuity is the one which feels, which takes the continuity from the Atman and superimposes it on the inert, the body, the senses, the thoughts, and feels that it is continuous. In dream it doesn't, while dreaming you are taking it to be continuous, but when you wake up you say, "Hare, it was only a dream." You recognize that it is discontinuous, that is only a figment of imagination. In waking, we are not able to recognize that. Only when you wake up, you will recognize it. Waking up means coming to be free from the enslavement of ownership, of either ownership of all the Dvaita and Dvandva, or remaining equanimous towards all of them. We have only given value, we have only become attached. We gave value to one man, we got attached, we called him husband and we became wife. Same way, we gave value to the thoughts, we say we are the thinker of the thoughts. That is the biggest lie. Thinking is happening, you are not thinking. It is the nature of the mind to think. It has got nothing to do with you. Just like eye's job is to see, it is its nature. Same way, the mind's nature is to think. Aham and idam vitti will keep coming and going. But are you considering yourself to be the aham which comes and goes? Are you considering yourself to be the aham as a thought, as a personality? Then we lose the plot. Because as aham's existence is only with respect to idam. So you have to recognize that you are that I which is independent of the thought. For that, now do whatever is required. Either you disconnect from all the duality and come back to the self, or you recognize that all the thoughts in the mind are expressions of the self alone. Then as much I thought I am, that much idam also I am. Because both are thoughts only. And thoughts are in the mind. They are made up of the material called the mind. And mind is nothing but bliss. Because it's the Shakti. So one wave and another wave, two second wave or third wave or fourth wave. They are nothing but the water. The material that has gone into is nothing but the water. And if micro is included in the macro, if Shakti is the macro and our teeny mind is the micro, and that Shakti alone is expressing as the individual mind, then how can the nature of the Shakti and the nature of the mind be opposite? She is of the nature of bliss and we are of the nature of misery. It's not possible. Can you have water is of one nature and wave is of another nature? It is not possible. But if the wave says, my nature is coming, I was born, I am going, that is all its imagination. So, this transformation, either you reject everything and come to the source, or you see the entire expanse, the Dvaita and the Dvandva, Dvaita within, Dvandva outside, the pairs of opposites within and pairs of opposite outside, are all expressions of the self alone. Are all expression is Sat is the constant principle, knower is always one, knower is always one without a second. And when the knower knows that he is always existing, the result is the bliss. That bliss then expresses as the variety. Now don't get lost in the variety. If you get lost in the variety, then it will be about survival. But if you take the entire variety as the expression and move through the variety without forgetting that you know you are, I know I am that. Nisargadatta Maharaj. You move through this variety, I am Atma Brahma, this Atma is Brahman, with this knowledge. Move through this variety with Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Then we'll never be enslaved by the duality, the Dvandva. Because that duality was for someone, that someone is also fictitious. Now we have come to know who we really are. The moment we come to know who we really are, ego vanishes. The only antidote for ego is coming to know yourself. Again, that also Upanishads are telling you in two ways. Either you dissolve the ego by famishing the ego. Don't give it food to think about, because ego survives on variety. Ego survives on data. Today's media is what? It's all on data. Data scientists. So don't give data to the ego. When it has got no data, it will drop. That is one way. So where the ego has dropped, there the self is revealed. Or the other way is that you seek the self and realize the self, and in focusing on the self, contemplating on the self, meditating on the self, the ego, because ego dissolves. So either you attack the ego by not giving it data. This is pranayam, this is holding on to the name of the Lord, this is who am I inquiry. So you are not giving value to the food of the ego. So for that, very, very gross, control your senses, control your mind. What is that for? So that the data for the ego is becoming less. That's all we are doing. Ego itself is a fictitious entity and it is surviving on another fictitious which is called the Dvandva and the Dvaita. So we are starving it of data. It can survive only on data. The more the data, stronger the ego. Child has got no data, so no ego. We who are now fathers, mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers, too much data, so much memory from childhood till today. And we keep re-enhancing our memory by looking into our videos and photographs, and every time the children come, we only talk about what happened in the past, when you were so small, then when I became the mother, when I was working in that job, blah, 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 blah. We are reinforcing the memories. What is happening? Ego is becoming strong. Therefore it is told, do not talk of your past. If you are a seeker, past is null and void, nothing to talk about. If someone asks, run away to the toilet. Find some excuse. You don't have to convince anyone about anything. You are here for your own evolution, or you are here to realize yourself, not to please what will other person think. Who cares what that other person thinks? I asked you with such humbleness. Some people write, my humble, every day I get a message, my humble pranams at your feet, Swamiji. Those people who say, my humble pranams, they are most egoistic. No, I'm just asking, what is wrong in asking? It is a natural conversation. Where were you born? When were you born? Which city you were born? Where do your parents come from? Get away from here. Why you are behaving like this? You ask a wrong question, you will be treated like that only. We don't have to please anyone in this world. Why? Whole world is in our mind only. We are sabotaging ourselves. We only invited that fellow, we only gave power to that fellow to ask that question to us, so that we continue to remain in the loop of the world and not come to the self and be the self. This is how the mind is functioning. The ego, it is trying to survive. Cut the cord. Cut the cord. What if other people feel bad? Who cares? We don't have to please the whole. You can never please the whole world. Have you been able to please your husband till today? Has the wife been able to please the husband, or the husband has been able to please the wife, or the parents have been able to please the children? It's never possible. One thing is sorted, the next thing is already waiting. Some issue always comes up, some problem always comes up, something always there to resolve. So don't try to please.
Swamiji?
Oh.
One question. In the dream, there is no ego, Swamiji? Because the thought comes, that's why dream comes.
There is ego. You dream the dream as a waking. In the dream, you don't know you are dreaming.
Yes, Swamiji.
In the dream, you don't know you are waking. You are dreaming. So when you are dreaming the dream, it's as if real for you.
Yes.
And because of that, the events in the dream, some event wakes you up. After waking up, you say it was a dream. In the dream, you don't say it was a dream. Ego alone is expressing as the waking ego, the dream ego, and the absence of the two. See? So, recognize this, Baba. Where are we? That someone versus the opposites, versus the Dvandva, is Dvaita. So, what is the resolution of this? Someone who is always standing. Wife is always the opposite of husband. Husband is always the opposite of wife. Parents are always the opposite of standing on the other bank of the children. Employer, employee, always opposite, facing each other. That is Dvandva, no? Aham can never be Idam. Aham is always opposite of Idam. Idam is always opposite of Aham. So someone, here when he says someone versus Dvandva is Dvaita, the knower-known difference. So who is this knower? As long this knower of the opposites, and you know the opposites are there right now. What are the opposites right now? The inside, outside, the man, woman, the presence of thoughts and the absence of thoughts, the in-breath and the out-breath. All these are opposites only. Inside you, the thought and no thought, that is Dvaita. Dvaita is talked about from the point of view of the knower and all the known. The someone who is with reference to all the known is the Dvaita inside. See? So we have to come to our correct identity. When Sat, Asat are cancelled out, Dvandva is removed. When Chit, Achit are cancelled, Dvaita is gone. So when Sat, Asat are cancelled, existence and non-existence are cancelled, then the opposites that are expressing out there in the world, they are neutralized. Because whole world is existing, isn't it? And the word we saw in the beginning, the word existence is only to counteract non-existence. Then the whole Dvandva, all the pairs of opposites in the outside world are taken care of. Then when we come to Chit, Achit, Chit, knowing and not knowing, that is always, knowing cannot be outside, knowing is always in here. So then the knowing, Chit, Achit, the knowing and not knowing, that is neutralized. Mind also becomes calm. Meaning what? When the Dvandva is calmed, the opposites of the world, the experiences of the world do not disturb you. When the Dvaita is calmed, that is in the mind, then the opposite thoughts, they don't disturb you. You are immune to them. Then Dvaita is gone. And when Sukha Dukkha are cancelled, the variation in experience, that is duality and dualism in experience, are also removed. Then only absolute bliss remains. And isn't it true that when we interact with the objects outside in the world, opposites outside in the world, and we take them in as knowledge, then the bliss comes. I enjoy, the pizza was outside, the pizza was outside, the knower of the pizza was inside, and the pizza thought was inside. And for one moment, the thought of pizza gives you joy. But after 2 pizzas, the thought of pizza gives you misery, bad stomach. The thought of eating laddu gives you joy. But after 2-3 laddus, it gives you misery. or it gives, and it expresses a diabetes which is long time. See, so all joys and sorrows are flitting, they are coming and going. They are also opposites, joys and sorrows. Joy is not permanent, sorrow is not permanent. It is also coming and going, coming and going, keep replacing each other. Keeps replacing each other. When we become immune, who is experiencing the joys and sorrows? Who is experiencing the joys and sorrows? The ego, the fictitious personality, which we have considered ourselves to be. I enjoyed the satsanga, gone. Saying is not wrong, but to feel only this is the way, then it is wrong. So when we disentangle ourselves from the joys and sorrows always come from some experience. Experience is always of some dvaita or dvandva. Something in the world outside or inside. So when we unclutch ourselves from these joys and sorrows also, why did the joys and sorrows subside? Because our importance giving to the opposites also subsided. So then the resultant joys and sorrow also subsided. When we are unaffected by the opposites outside, when we are untouched by the opposites inside, when we are untouched by the resultant joy and sorrows. How do you know joy and sorrow? Also by way of thought only. So when, in other words, if you want to really dissect it, if aham remains undisturbed because of idam, if aham remains undisturbed because of idam, ego is also aham, aham vritti is also aham, and self is also aham without a thought. Oh my God, Swamiji, enough. All is you only, no? Self is also I. The I thought is also I. The ego is also I. Just like the wife is also woman, the mother is also woman, the sister or daughter also is a woman. Same way, everything is I only. But which one are you considering yourself to be? So how do you wean yourself away from the fictitious I and come to be the real I? By remaining undisturbed by the data, by remaining undisturbed by the, here in this verse, by the duality or the dualism. Dualism outside, duality within, joys and sorrow within, they are also appearing as thoughts and remaining undisturbed. The longer you remain undisturbed, the more wakeful you will be. Towards what? To yourself. The more, example, like in deep sleep every night, there is no duality, there is no dualism, meaning no opposites of the world, no opposites of the mind to be perceived. Mind is absolutely still, and that makes you fresh and awake in the morning to deal with the whole day again. So mere sleep under the spell of ignorance is making you so fresh in the morning. Imagine if you remain constantly in the disposition of being and not being disturbed by anything how much fresh you will feel. You will be unstoppable. And that is bliss. When bliss is when we think that because of this I am happy, then that is sukha. When in spite of everything I am happy, not because of something or someone I am happy, then it is true bliss. And if you remain in that bliss, as that bliss, not looking for the cause, not looking for a reason, that uncaused bliss, slowly, slowly, as you remain in that disposition, you will see the entire expanse, because mind is still there, body is still there, the world is still there, till this body doesn't die. But the transformation that comes about is the recognition that all this is an expression of the bliss alone. Just like all waves are expressions of the water alone. The water alone is the material that is in and through all the waves. Waves have got no separate existence apart from water. Then this bliss, which is the inherent potentiality of the self, that I am, the conscious being, the conscious existence, the bliss is the potentiality, the expression of the conscious existence I am. Then that bliss is pervaded by the self. That bliss alone is expressing just as water is alone expressing as all the waves, that bliss alone is expressing as all the thoughts, all the names and forms, all duality and inside and outside. Story over. This realization then at the level of the mind, this realization, this disposition at the level of the mind, our scriptures talk about as Om Sahasrashirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva, and it goes on. That is the recognition of this. Because mind is there. Mind has to think of something. But now it is washed in the light of consciousness. Now it is not enslaved by the duality, even though it is functioning in duality only. But now the thought constructs that come about in this mind, they are sublime. They are of this category. This is when the scriptures are revealed to great masters. The words that come out of their mouth are unparalleled. See? How is Ananda or bliss defined? Normal tendency is to conceptualize it as an experience. Ananda is not an experience. It is because of Ananda that experience is possible. Bliss is the absence of no or non-difference. So it is not, in meditation today we took this point that bliss is not because of something. Something is because of bliss. All expression is an expression of bliss alone, potentiality alone. So I am desiring a laddu. So as long as I am desiring the laddu is far away from me. Can't even see it. So I take the car, I drive to shops, or I go and get some stuff to make the laddu. Then slowly, slowly, all the different ingredients, the suji and the sugar or the jaggery and the dry fruits and the sugar syrup, all that is, all different ingredients are put together to make the laddu. But that laddu is still separate from me. Then I pick up the laddu, then I put it into my mouth. The moment I put it on the tongue, the separation is over. And the desire for the laddu, which was so intense that I want, that want has become less, but it has not gone completely because it is on your tongue. It will go completely only when it goes into your tummy. Where the difference between the wanter and the wanted disappears, then the experience is complete. Isn't it? Then only the desire will go away. Otherwise it will not go away. So as I told you in the beginning, in the meditation, either you merge into the object of your contemplation completely. So either you merge with every word that you are hearing and get out of the way, how do you merge the knower and the known? How do you merge the desirer and the desired? Two ways. Either the desire must become one, desirer, desired. Either the desirer becomes one with the desired, that is one way. The waker desires sleep and merges into sleep, becomes one with sleep, isn't it? Or the other way is to recognize that the desirer and the desired are expressions of the one alone, of the one mind. The mind alone at one place is the desirer, and the mind alone is at another place called the desired. And mind is nothing but consciousness. So consciousness alone at one place is expressing as the aham and another place as the idam. You understand? Again you have neutralized it, again you are fulfilled. The moment you recognize that it is like that, the desire will drop away because both I am. If I recognize that the whole world I am, then there will be no desire for the world. Just like all the opposites in this body, the right hand, left leg, right eye, right ear, left ear, top and bottom, front and back, everything I am, no? All opposites. But I am pervading all the body, the entire body. So I don't have a desire for any part of my body. Because I am pervading the whole body. So either take this position and recognize that mind alone has become, and here in this particular verse, mind is nothing but the potentiality. Just before I said it is consciousness, yes, that is also true. Because the material that has gone into but we are breaking it up. So mind is the potentiality. Potentiality is of the nature of bliss. See? So bliss alone is expressing as the aham and idam. The Shakti alone, as thoughts we are talking about, the variety is because of the Ananda. Ananda is not because of the variety. Variety is because of the Ananda. This flip way of looking at the world. I was born in this world. Wrong conclusion. the world was born from me. Why should I believe that? My data doesn't tell me that. Well, you have not looked at the data properly. If you keep attending satsangs, we are telling you again and again. The source is the mind. The source for the dream, the source is the mind. The source for the waking also is the mind. And mind is your potentiality. The mind is of the nature of bliss, but you will recognize it as bliss only when you become conscious of your own permanent existence. Till that does not happen, mind will be considered as something to be conquered, something to be eradicated, something to be annihilated, something to be unclutched, detached from. And as long as, how long will you keep doing that? Till you do not recognize you are of the nature of conscious existence. You are of the nature of conscious existence. Conscious. So for that, do who am I inquiry, do Om Japa, for whatever way you want to come. Jnaneshwar Maharaj practiced Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para. He practiced that. It becomes so crystal clear. And same thing Shankaracharya ji also is saying. Either do neti neti, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, and come to the real yourself, real you. And once you come to the real you, then the second part, the other side of the neti neti is anvaya, all inclusivity. Then that I, when you come to the real I, the thought-free I, that thought-free I is what? There, if you read when we take the Upanishads and all, what is this true I, the real I? It is Satchidananda Swarup. Then that is the expanse. Then the Anvaya. Nothing is outside this Satchidananda Swarup reality. Just as nothing is outside the space, everything is in the space. Space alone has become the air, fire, water, earth. Space alone is pervading all these four elements. Space alone is pervading the plants, the mountains, the humans. You are looking at the form. That's your fault. But the true material that has gone into in all this is space. And what is space? That which does not exist. It is emptiness. It is nothingness. That tariki. Ghum phir ke come to it's either you call it ignorance, either you call it space. But can nothing exist independently? No, someone should know that it is existing. But how can something that which is not is existing? Now you are going in the right direction. If that is your question, first prove that your body exists, because that ignorance or that absence called space alone has given rise to the four elements and the resultant world, which includes your body, which includes your mind, which includes waking, dream, deep sleep. You are asking us to prove the absence. First you prove the presence. On what basis are you saying that the world is real then? If the source of all of it, even at the very gross level, is the space, and space is emptiness, space is nothingness, how can something come out of nothing? Contemplate on these lines and be free of the wrong conclusions, that we are harboring within, which keep us in the loop of relativity. Keep us in the loop. If we keep thinking what we have been thinking till today, we will keep getting what we have been getting till today. If we want a different result, if we want to transcend the relativity, then we have to have thoughts which think of transcendence, which represent unlimitedness. We have to think thoughts which represent infinity. We have to think of those such thoughts which indicate the unconditioned. Because thought by nature is conditioned, but when we talk about infinity, the word is conditioned. It's a word, INFINITY. But what it is representing is beyond the word. And what is that infinity? Oh, then you will say, I'm going a bit away from the topic, but it's okay. We will say, oh, nothing is also a word and it also represents that which is not. How can that which is not have a name? But you are doing it, no? So maybe infinity is also like that because we can never come to know it. No, you can come to know it. That's where the script, Sanatana Dharma, the Vedas, the Upanishads, they come into play. They say that which is you, the real you. That which is infinite is the you. These words Satchidananda are representing that. But that one is independent of the word Satchidananda. And that's how this topic began. That Satchidananda were the words to counteract the Asat, Achit and Dukkham. Bliss is the absence of knower known difference. Knower known difference. But we see Mahatmas also use, I am hungry, I want to go to sleep, now let's go for a walk there, now I have to go for shushu, shishi. They also say that. So they are also saying, I want to study, now I have to go for lecture. Masters. They say, now I want to go to Badrinath, realized masters. Adi Shankaracharya also said, I want to go to Badrinath. He also went, constructed the 4 mats. This is after realization. He got the 4 mats. He established Kedarnath, Badrinath, Tirupati, Sharda, all the 4 pithas, 5 pithas. He is also saying that I have to do this, I have to do that. But you are saying that where the knower known difference is not there. Where is the knower known difference? In the mind. That is the phenomena. Mind will continue to think that way even after realization. You cannot make a sentence without I. Without the knower known, you cannot make a sentence. But are you owning it? That is the question. Are you affected by it? That is the question. Are you influenced by those thoughts? That is the question. So if we are continuously, just like you are not continuously thinking you are the father and the mother, but all your activities are expressions of being a parent. But you don't keep saying, I am the mother, I am the mother, I am the parent, I am the parent, I am the parent. You don't keep saying that. Because somewhere deep inside it has clicked that I am a parent and all activities thereafter are expressions of that conclusion. Isn't it? Somewhere in my life it clicked that I am a sannyasi and the resultant life that is expressing is the the expression of that sannyashood. I'll call only as sannyashood because it's a renunciation. Somewhere it must have clicked. That's why I don't go out for, don't live my life like a normal worldly fellow. And there is no, for a worldly fellow also there are difficulties, for a sannyasi also difficulties, perceived difficulties. But sannyasi doesn't give importance to them, worldly fellow gives importance to them. So life is still going on, no? Life is still going on. Life will always go on. The phenomena will always go on. It will not stop. That is what life is. But are you the phenomena or are you the illuminator of the phenomena? Is the phenomena something to be owned, something to be identified with, something to be troubled by, something to be agitated about, something to be distracted by, something to complain about, something to be possessed? Or is phenomena an expression of the inherent bliss? This conclusion each one of us has to come to in ourselves. Nobody can make you come to that conclusion. See? Bliss is the absence of the knower-known difference. So bliss is the absence of the knower-known difference. When you are in bliss, knower and known difference is there, but you are not aware of it because you are abiding in yourself as the self. In deep sleep, you are in deep sleep is called bliss state, isn't it? So is there no in-breath and out-breath going on? It is going on. Is there no disease and health of the body? I got a jab, so my left arm is aching and my right arm is healthy. In deep sleep, both are absent. But is the pain there? Yes. Is the pain not there? No. But in deep sleep, you are not aware of both. In deep sleep, you are not aware of the in-breath and the out-breath. So going beyond the phenomena, going beyond the knower and known. So here when he says bliss is the absence of knower and known difference. Absence means either you can take, now our connotation of the word absence is either zero, knower known difference. But what does that zero mean? Zero means, are you actually removing it from its existence, or are you so at one ment with the bliss as I, as the self, that the knower and known difference is not available for you to perceive? Because you see, wherever you see the self alone. I gave the example of the body. So that is what is called as absence here. So bliss is the absence of the knower and known difference. Bliss is when the knower chit and the known sat stop qualifying each other. Now take the total system. Sat is existence. And what have we created? Sat and Chit. They are one and the same. Understand? Sat and Chit are one and the same. Sat, Chit, Ananda. All three are same. Self alone is Sat, Chit, Ananda. But what have we done? we have divided the Sat and the Chit and the Ananda. I have decided I am the Chit, I am the consciousness. I have divided the existence into this I on one side and that world on the other side. Existence, I am existing and the world is also existing. And Ananda, when I own the world, when I fulfill my desire for the world, then I will experience Ananda. So we have created a distance between Satchid and Ananda where there is no distance. You understand what we are saying? So where the distance between consciousness and existence, Sat and Chit, Chit I am and Sat is existence. So first we weaned our attention away from the outside existence. Then we came to the senses. From senses we came to the existence of thoughts in the mind. From the thoughts also we recognized they are aham and idam. Then we gave up the idam. We came to the aham thought. Existence we are talking about. I am contemplating on aham thought. When I am contemplating on the aham thought, the question will be, who am I? So there is a person who is asking the question, who am I? And when he inquires into it, he comes to realize, stupid fellow, the one who is questioning and the question, the object of contemplation, both are one and the same. Tang. Consciousness, conscious existence alone am I. That is the realization. And thereafter, the phenomena is continuing. Phenomena is the mind. But now that phenomena, before it was a object to be grasped, to be experienced, to be owned, to become one with, to be pursued. But now, once I have realized conscious existence I alone am, from this abidance, the phenomena is the resultant. Now what is the when with this realization, when we look at the phenomena, oh, this phenomena, everything is my bliss only, is the bliss only. The entire phenomena, which is nothing but bliss, expressing as the manyness of the existence alone is expressing as all that there is. But now there is no desire for the everything. Why? Everything is nothing but bliss. Bliss is my nature. How did that bliss come about? Consciousness, conscious existence, I alone am. I am of the nature of conscious existence. I am the consciousness, I alone am the existence. Before, what I had done, I am consciousness and the world is existing. And this consciousness was seeking the existing world and wanting to be one with it, desiring it, pursuing it. But now it has realized that the true existence behind the entire phenomenal world, behind the flitting aham and idam thoughts, they are also world, is the constant. And that constant I am, that constant existence I am. And from that moment onwards, you cannot be you anymore. Meaning, you cannot be the miserable you anymore. As much as the world may try, you will not become miserable. Because there is no becoming possible after that. There is only being. How many more ways we can approach this? This is the beauty of the masters. This is the beauty of scriptures. We'll stop here and continue from the next paragraph in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.